Welcome to the Marketing Smarts live show by MarketingProfs and the Marketing Smarts podcast, where we dive into B2B news, resources, valuable guest content, and much, much more each and every week. If you're a B2B marketer looking for a place to learn, keep up to date, and have some fun along the way, well, then grab a beverage, a notepad, or at least some style of writing utensil, and welcome to the show. Hello to all of my Marketing Smarts viewers. Today, I am super excited to bring you episode 22 of the Marketing Smarts live show. This week's topic is all about marketing research for you, the B2B marketer, and your B2B marketing success. That's right. So if you're ready to get your learn on, buckle up, then let's get ready to rock and roll. I'm your boy, George B. Thomas, speaker, trainer, catalyst, and host of this here show, the Marketing Smarts live show, as well as the Marketing Smarts podcast, found on your favorite podcast app. Our guest clips today are brought to you by none other than Jim Longo. Jim brings over 30 years of domain experience in the market research industry and is considered a thought leader in online behavior and market research technology. He has consulted with brands and research agencies around the world on how to have insightful online conversations and was instrumental in building the first global online qualitative research practice at Harris Interactive, acquired by Nielsen. Oh my gosh. Yes, it was. Now, remember, the clips of Jim Longo today are pulled from the full Marketing Smarts podcast episode. And if you want to listen to the full interview with Jim Longo and myself, make sure to tune in to the Marketing Smarts podcast. Link to the full show will be in the description below after the live show ends. That's right. All the right links in all the right places at just the right time. Now, in this episode, again, I'm talking with Jim Longo about marketing research for B2B marketing success. That's your success. I have to ask, do you do market research at your company? If so, how? Also, if so, how do you then use it for the betterment of your people, process, and, dare I say, your customer experience? Also, what the heck do we mean by market research? Is it some type of crazy platform or system that we have to subscribe to with a deep learning curve? Is it like crazy and oh my gosh? No. Or is it simply just talking about or having a conversation with our customers? I don't know. Maybe up to you. Maybe not. We'll see as we move forward. Either way, why is it important? That, my friends, is the magic question. Why and importance are two very powerful words when used in the same sentence that happens to be a question. So that's what I wanted to figure out at the front of my podcast with Jim. And I asked him, why is marketing research important to you and important to the B2B space? That's right. We asked the question, and here's what Jim had to say.
Yeah, it seems really novel to actually speak to customers, but we've gotten away from that. What technology has done, and especially in the quantitative world, is gives you a lot of data points. But you need to bring that data to life. And the best way to do that is to have a conversation. Now, marketers are, highly educated people. They're thinking about their products every day. They're having conversations and meetings with colleagues. So they're actually operating in a bubble. And they need to get out of the building, if you will, and they need to align with customer needs. So, especially in the B2B world, people say, well, that's great for CPG, but, B2B, we don't really need to know research because we understand our customers and our salespeople talk. But, how do you democratize or share those learnings through the organization? And, I challenge people often and say, there is an emotional attachment in selling products B2B, right? And it's a different type of emotion. It's not going to make your skin feel better or you feel more confident. But if you bring, a new service to an organization and it creates efficiency and saves time and money and ultimately gets you promoted or noticed, that's an emotional connection. So these conversations bring out that emotion.
Did you hear that? Is it a novel idea for you to actually talk to your customers? Hiya. Man, I hope not. Do you have a lot of data, but it's dead data that needs brought back to life? Do you need to get out of the building, out of the bubble, and align with your customers' needs? Let us know in the chat pane or let me know on Twitter using the hashtag MPB2B. And of course, tag me using @GeorgeB. Now we'll get back to Jim Longo and his thoughts on market research for B2B marketing success. But first, I have to ask, are you part of the Marketing Profs community? If not, become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. Now, it's time for one of my favorite sections in the B2B news, where we talk about breaking B2B news or really important tips we find on Google News tab related to you and your B2B business and B2B marketing. This week, the title, well, it's Martech's B2B marketing experts to follow by martech.org by Konstantin von Hoffman. Here are the top B2B marketing experts to follow to stay on top of all the best practices and the latest developments. B2B marketing is as direct and personalized as it gets. You've got to know what your customers do, how they do it, their needs and goals. You've also got to know their company's processes, organization, and purchasing cycles. Then you have to communicate with them in the best possible way at the right time with the information they're looking for. That's not easy to do. Fortunately, you don't have to go it alone. At least that's how this article starts. Here's our list, not my list, by the way. It's, the list that I'm bringing you of the top B2B marketers to follow. Now, look, this is me saying this. Everybody needs a mentor along the way. And this article brings some faces that you know and love, as well as some new faces you may have not met yet. And so get a mentor today. Check out this article. To read this article, check out the link below when the live show is over. So let's get back to Jim Longo and his Marketing Smarts podcast episode. As you start down the scary journey of talking to your customers, okay, I might be jesting just a tad here, but as you make this journey, I wanted to know what we as B2B marketers should be thinking about along the way. So that's what I asked Jim. As we start using marketing research, what are some things we as B2B marketers should be considering? And here's what he shared with us.
Yeah, great question. So, first of all, you have to think about who is your target audience, right? And who is buying your product? Who's buying your product today? Who do you want to, position to sell to in the future? And maybe why you've lost certain customers. So, and I think by looking at those segments first and then deciding, what you need to tackle based on your priorities is the first step. And then, do you speak about your service or your product the same way as your customers do? And that's what really comes out in a live conversation. It's hearing the adjectives that they use to describe the offering that you're giving and listening to them. So that's why you should speak to your target audience, often, because it is changing again. And then, bring in the stakeholders. What happens so often in large organizations and even medium size is that, they're asked, have you done any market research? And what happens, it goes and it's get passed over to an insights team. And it's kind of like, this enigma that you have to run some focus groups or you have to do a survey before you get a green light to continue on. But rather than passing it on to a professional who's trained on how to ask questions or structure surveys, you need to involve the stakeholder, and this is where agile has become very important, and involving the stakeholders in the entire process. So not just handing someone something and saying, hey, give me an answer on this, but be involved, be an observer, listen, be a part of the decision making on what those questions are going to be. But leave it to the professionals to write the questions in a way that is not leading. So, and then you want to share those learnings across the organization, all the way up to the C-suite, because everyone needs to be aligned to the customer's needs.
Oh, snap. Did you hear that? Do you have segments? Do you know your persona, your prospect, your purchaser today, in the future? Maybe even, maybe even who you have lost as a customer. Dare I say that is vitally important. Do you talk about your offering the same way that your customers do? Or do you have your own language in your own bubble? Do you have a list of adjectives your target audience uses for your products and services? Is it on, or the opposite of that, Is it on an ancient scroll, or is it new and valuable data? And oh my gosh, are your stakeholders part of the process along the entire journey? And did you share your information with the rest of your company, or is it hidden in your little marketing box? Honestly, this is probably, I know we're live right now, but when this is not live, that's probably a rewind point to re-listen to what Jim said, because there are so many pieces of wisdom and nuggets in there. Anyway, we'll get back to Jim Longo in a few minutes. But first, you know what time it is, or maybe you don't. It might be your first episode. It's time for some dope B2B learnings from the vault of MarketingProfs articles. That's right. It's time to dig into the treasure trove of valuable information and pull out 2 pieces of gold to help you be a better B2B marketer. Article 1 this week is Marketing Research Tool, Expert Advice, Articles, and more. And it's a little bit of a shameless plug, but MarketingProfs, your marketing research tool. At MarketingProfs.com, our goal is to provide you with the information and know-how you need to successfully compete in your business. Our wealth of industry-related information draws on the cutting-edge marketing knowledge of a broad array of analysis, marketing professionals, professors who create marketing theory and are able to bridge the gap between theory and real-world business practice. That is why so many businesses, both large and small, look at MarketingProfs as a vital marketing research tool for success. Now, if you're interested in learning why so many companies use MarketingProfs as a marketing research tool, then follow the link in the description and keep learning more. That's right. After the live is over, there will be a link for you. Article number 2 this week, The Secret to Great Marketing Research, Ask the Right Questions by Robert Caden. After conducting thousands of marketing research studies and asking hundreds of thousands of questions, Robert has come to understand one thing: there are no bad questions, only irrelevant ones. In other words, the majority of questions asked are irrelevant. That is, they don't result in answers that lead to actions. Marketing research has only one purpose: to provide marketers with information that leads to actions that in turn lead to making more money. Revenue, revenue, revenue. While interesting information might be food for intellect, it is usually a brutal waste of money unless it leads to action. The challenge in getting the absolute most out of your marketing research dollars, therefore, is in asking questions relating to areas where action is possible. The trick, of course, is knowing what questions to ask. Ready to learn 6 steps to take that will put you on the right track to finding the right questions? Well, if so, check the link in the description below after the live show and get access to both amazing MarketingProfs articles. Okay, back to Jim Longo. Let's dive back into this conversation of marketing research for B2B marketing success. Now, hopefully by now, you know me and the fact that I love when those around me succeed, which means you, because you're watching this episode and hopefully historical episodes and future episodes. But those that are around me, I love to see them succeed. So I always love to ask the question around the potholes, AKA hurdles, that might get in one's way. That way we can drive right through them or take a detour and miss them completely. Now, today's conversation is no different. On this topic of market research, I had to ask Jim, what are some of the market research hurdles you should, or that he would want to warn the Marketing Smarts audience about? That's you. What do you need to be aware of? Here's what he had to share.
So first of all, when people come back to me or push back on is they say, I don't want other people than who are trained to have conversations with a consumer, because you hit on it earlier and we spoke about it, is that confirmation bias. Right? People are only listening to things that's going to validate their own ideas. And once they hear that, they turn off the rest of the conversation. So it's important that if anyone is leading these or facilitating these conversations, they are trained to ask, again, more forward questions and not leading questions. That is super important. And it's not what people say, it's also what they don't say. And that's where the training comes in. So how do you bring out things that maybe even the customer isn't even thinking of at the moment? And that's really where the skill set comes. And people get better at that over time, is what we've seen.
What do you push back on? What do others around you in your organization push back on? Do you have humans in your organization that just tune out and turn off? Well, maybe they might not be the right person to be asking your market research questions. Do you have someone who is a great listener, loves to keep digging deeper, has an open mind? Is that you? Maybe it is, or maybe it isn't. But from what Jim said, that's who we should find to be doing our market research, be leader in our organization. At least that's what I took away from it. Did you? We're going to get some words of wisdom from Jim Longo here in a few minutes, but right now it's time to turn the spotlight on you, the Marketing Profs community. Yep, time for the hashtag MP B2B community. We searched far and wide in the hashtag MP B2B universe to find amazing information and conversations to bring to you, the masses. So first, make sure you're using the hashtag, and second, make sure you have fun and add value to the community along the way. Then we'll spotlight you and or your crew on the show. This week, it's Erica Held, or SF Erica, on Twitter. The tweet, well, I love it. It goes a little something like this. What hashtag marketing industry events will you attend this year? ? I'm still planning my lineup and submitting my speaking proposals, but can't wait for hashtag CEX, hashtag CMWorld, and hashtag MPB2B. There it is, the magic hashtag. If you're looking for event options, we just posted this roundup of 19 conferences. By the way, that's them, not me. Ready to get your marketing event game on? Head to the description, click the link, and check out the post and read or learn more. And heck, who knows? Maybe I'll see you at one of those fantastic events. I know there's at least one that I will be at, maybe more. Marketing Smarts viewers, I have to ask, are you going to be the next to get the spotlight? Remember, community, use the hashtag MPB2B on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and get the light shined on your awesomeness in the next episode or a future episode of the Marketing Smarts Live Show. Pro tip, it won't hurt if you tag me into the post as well. I'm at George B. Thomas on LinkedIn and Twitter, and at Mr. B. Thomas on Facebook. And if you use that hashtag on Facebook, you are sure going to make the show, because I'm going to tell you right now, it is the least used hashtag on Facebook. So I'm just throwing that out there. You want to be on the show next week? Go use the hashtag on Facebook. It'll be there. Say something cool, obviously, too, but anyway, let's kick it back to Jim Longo and some words of wisdom around this topic of market research for B2B marketing success. Here's what Jim wanted to leave us with. Now, get ready to take lots of notes, because these are some words of wisdom.
You can't afford not to be engaged with your target group. Stay close to your customer. They're evolving just as your business is evolving, so you need to do the same.
I may have been joking on you'll be taking lots of notes, but talk about powerful, short, sweet, and to the point. Always be evolving. Always be engaging. You can't afford to not be having conversations with the humans that make up your target audience. Ladies and gentlemen, have you enjoyed today's journey? Let us know. Use that hashtag MPB2B on whatever platform you're joining us on. It's that time. Ladies and gentlemen, head to the description below. I mean, run, get there, click on the links to the full Marketing Smarts podcast with Jim Longo, and keep on learning more about marketing research for B2B marketing success. Remember, these were just a few clips of the original Marketing Smarts podcast interview. And if you got value out of today's show, hit that like, and better yet, share it with a friend. To keep learning more, hit that subscribe or watch additional Marketing Prof videos on your favorite social channel, or head over to our YouTube channel if you're not there yet. Or you can tune in to the original Marketing Smarts podcast episode on your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to become part of the Marketing Profs community by heading over to mprofs.com/MP today. That's mprofs.com/MP today. Did I mention that it's free? It's free. Head over there. And as always, remember to be a happy, helpful, humble B2B marketing human, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Smarts Live show next week.